Civil 3D provides similar creation tools to creating profiles as you have for alignments. The creation tools for profiles are located in the Create Design panel, Profile, and then Create Surface Profile, as well as Profile Creation Tools. Profiles are stored in the Prospector tab and are children of your horizontal alignment. So if we navigate to the Alignments category, I've got Bypass 1 and US 100 existing, and as you see here, I have a profile in this one, and in Bypass 1, I happen to have 3 profiles. So we have to delineate between profiles and something called a profile view. So the profile is the actual grade line of a surface or a proposed vertical alignment. The profile view is simply the grid and the profiles display in the profile view. So Civil 3D, as with everything, has styles and settings that you need to be aware of for profile views as well as profiles. If we go to the Settings tab, Profile category, these are the profile styles available. So these are the styles that will pertain to the actual profile grade line. Whether it's this proposed profile or this surface profile, these are the styles that would control how these get displayed. The Profile View category contains profile view styles and all the label styles and band styles that you apply to there as well. So as you can see here, all the grid graphics, such as the text, the ticks, as well as the elevation text and ticks, are controlled by the Profile View style. If we look at this one here, this one is just showing an existing profile, but the Profile View style shows a full grid system. So that's the difference between a profile and a profile view. Two different object types in Civil 3D. Again, they are children of the horizontal alignment, and you can see them or view them within the Prospector tab. This concludes this video discussing an overview of profiles. Civil 3D provides some great tools to create profiles that will read a surface. To create a surface profile, we will select the horizontal alignment, and in the contextual ribbon, we will choose the Surface Profile tool from the Launchpad panel. Civil 3D will read the surfaces in your file, and then you can simply click Add to add that surface profile. Note that before I do so, you can also define some sample offset profiles, and those too will be dynamic. You can simply toggle this on and add, let's say, 12, -12 to define sample offsets that will be read by the surface. I'll just click Add here. I'm now adding that surface profile, which will update dynamically. If you want to define a layer for this object, you can click here. If you want to change the style, you can also click here as well. Now that I've created a surface profile, I would like to draw this in the profile view. You don't have to. This surface profile has actually already been created, but we want to actually see this in a profile view. So let's click on Draw in Profile View. That brings up the Create Profile View wizard, and this is a standard wizard interface where you get to define the default settings for the profile view that you are creating. First, you can define a name. So I'll go ahead and just type this in, and we'll say US-100 existing. I could have just used the parent alignment name as well. In this case, I want to define the profile view style that will be used. So I want to use full grid because I want to see a full grid system along with the profile. Click Next. You can define a station range if you'd like. A station range for that sheet. We'll go with automatic. Click Next. For the profile view height, you can actually define a user-specified height range for minimum and maximum, and you can even define split profile views should your existing surface be very steep and need to be split across the different sections. We'll just go with automatic. Click Next. I have another opportunity to change any of the different settings here. Click Next. And then data bands is where you can define existing and proposed elevations to display below or above the profile view. We'll just go with the default EG/FG elevation and stations and click Next. Profiles can also be hatched to show cut and fill areas as well as multiple boundaries if you so desire. You can also import criteria as well if you need to. We don't have any to show, so let's just go ahead and click on Create Profile View. It is prompting us for a lower left corner for the origin, and I will simply click somewhere above here, and just like that, I now have a profile view. Also displayed is the existing ground. Again, as mentioned before, profiles are stored under the alignment that they have been created under. So if we look under the US-100 existing, you'll see that I have a profile right there, as well as a profile view. If you'd like to change the name of this profile, simply right-click on it here in the Prospector tab, go to Properties, and we'll call this one US-100 EX. Note that I can also change the profile style of how that grade line is being displayed. We'll click OK, and now we have the name for that profile. Let's go ahead and create a profile and profile view of our bypass alignment. I'll select this alignment and choose Surface Profile. Again, we'll pick the same exact surface as Combine EG. And I can change the style here, but we'll go with the defaults. Click Draw on Profile View. And in this case, I actually want to change the profile view name to Bypass. And for the profile view style, I want to change this to No Grid. So this will show an outer boundary for the profile view, but no grid, so it makes it easier to do designing without snapping accidentally to the profile view grid. We'll go with the other default settings and click Create Profile View. And again, this will prompt us for the lower left corner. So as I place that, I notice that it's actually in the way of my design or my roadway here. So one of the great things about the profile view is that you can select it. Now, if I select this, that selects the profile, not the profile view. Let me press Escape. If I pick the profile view, you'll notice that I can actually move all of it around by simply picking the lower left corner, and it stays dynamically linked to the profile view. So there are two profile views with their profiles and their bands as well. So let's say I'm going to eventually do a design profile for my bypass, but I want to superimpose the grade line for the existing center line onto this profile view so I can actually see it while I'm doing my design. So I'm going to select the profile view, and then in the Launchpad, there's a superimpose profile command, which is a great command. When you don't know what to do, look to the command line window. So it's asking me, select the source profile. Don't forget, a profile is the actual grade line. So I'm going to select the source profile, and then it says select destination profile view. So I'm going to select my profile view, and that is not the profile, that's anywhere along the grid here. So I'll pick here, and then I am prompted with some superimposed profile options. Basically, you can define the horizontal and vertical mid-ordinate distances for accuracy. So you want these to be pretty tight, but not too tight so you get too much granularity, making your file a little bit slower. I'll simply click OK, and it superimposes that profile right on my profile view, which is just fantastic. Now, it is using the same exact profile style, so because I already have the profile selected, I need to press Escape, select the profile itself, and now I can change the profile properties. What I want to actually do is copy this profile style and make my own. So I'll go to Profile Properties, and then in the Object Style, I'm going to actually click on this little drop-down and select Copy Current Selection. I'll change this to Existing Offset, and all I want to do is just change the color. So watch what I can do right here, because I'm going to just use this as a visual aid. I can select these. It'll still go on the same layer. All I want to do is change the color. So in the color column, I'll simply pick this here, and let's say change it to white. Click OK. Click OK. It's using that style. Click OK again. Press Escape, and now I have that profile displayed the way that I want to. Again, the beauty of Civil 3D and surface profiles, whether they're proposed or existing, is that they will update automatically. So let's examine that functionality. Up in the viewport controls, I'm going to change my viewport configuration to 2 horizontal, very easily. Let's put the profile view in my view right there. And on the bottom, what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually select my alignment, and then using the grips, and again, you wouldn't normally do this, of course, but this is just to show this functionality. As I move my horizontal alignment, because this is a surface profile, this will update the surface grade line automatically in the profile view, which again is pretty cool. If you have a proposed profile, that will not update because it has nothing to update to. You are creating a proposed profile. This concludes this video discussing surface profiles and profile views. Civil 3D provides tools very similar to the horizontal alignment tools to create proposed profiles. Let's create our proposed vertical alignment. To create a proposed vertical alignment or profile, go to the Create Design panel in the Home tab and choose the Profile dropdown and select the Profile Creation Tools. Again, when you don't know what to do, look to the command line window. It's asking us to pick a profile view to create a profile. Don't confuse that with the actual profile grade lines here as you see in this profile view. This is the profile view. Once you select the profile view, Civil 3D will know exactly which profile view you want to create this proposed profile. We'll go ahead and give this a name with an underscore in the front of it. This way, when we go to design our corridor model, it'll come to the top of the list, making it easier to create the corridor. Notice, like all Civil 3D objects, you must select a style for this Civil 3D object. You can also provide a label set, which will automatically add line and curve labels to the profile. You can also do design criteria if you need to. Design criteria consists of minimum K-tables that follow the AASHTO standards. You can also use design check sets that will actually check your vertical elements, like your lines and your curves. We'll leave it off for now. I'll click OK. This opens up the profile layout tools, very similar to the alignment layout tools. In fact, it's categorized exactly as the alignment layout tools are as well. So we have the PI method right here. In this case, it'd be the PVI method. We have the fixed, floating, and free type elements, except in the vertical. We have the fixed, floating, and free type curve tools, as well as the ability to convert AutoCAD lines and splines to profile elements. So let's go ahead and look at creating some PVIs. If you need to, you can actually use curve settings as well. So I'll just click on that. And you can actually define vertical curve settings like length, K-value, the curve type, and so on. And you can do this in the crest and sag scenarios. We're going to create these by PVIs, and then we'll actually add our own curve using the free curve tool. I'll go ahead and select this dropdown, and we'll choose Draw Tangents. It's asking me to specify a start point. And so what I want to do is I actually want to grab the elevation at a station from a surface. So I want to grab the existing ground at station 3+00. So there's a transparent command. If you want to use a toolbar, you can go to the View tab, Toolbars, Civil, Transparent Commands. I'm going to type these in, and the way that you type in a transparent command is with the apostrophe, which states transparent. In other words, use this while you're in the middle of a command. And this command is SSE for Surface Station Elevation. I'll press Enter. And following the command prompts, it says select a profile view. I'll go ahead and pick my profile view. Then it says select a surface. So I'll pick my surface in this viewport. Then notice how the jig comes up, allowing me to define a station. I can snap to existing graphics if I need to, but in this case, I know the stationing, so I'll just type in 300. Press Enter. Now it looks like nothing happened, but it actually has already grabbed that point in this profile view. I just don't have another point created yet to actually define that line. So I'll click once in this profile view, and then what I will do is press Escape to get out of this transparent command, and that puts me back into the current Draw Tangent command. Now I want to actually call another transparent command to define a grade and station for my linear element. So this is apostrophe PGS for profile grade station. Press Enter, and then following the command line window, I'll add my grade, which in this case is -0.02. Press Enter. Notice how this jig comes up automatically that is showing you from that point, this is the grade that you are defining. And so I know the station in the profile view, and the station for this is 1778.95. Press Enter, and there's my first vertical tangent. Now I want to keep going here, and I already know the station and the elevation for this last point in my profile. And so there's another transparent command called Profile Station Elevation. If you look here, I'm still in the Profile Grade Station transparent command. And so if I wanted to keep drawing grades, or tangents at grades, I could keep doing so, but in this case I'm done, so I need to press Escape once. And now it's prompting me for a endpoint for this next vertical tangent. In this case, like I stated, I want to actually do this by a station elevation. So this is apostrophe PSE. Press Enter, and the station for this is 2357.14. Press Enter, and the elevation is 114.92. Press Enter. And as you can see, there's my PVI there and my ending tangent. I'll press Escape once to get out of the transparent command, press Escape again to get out of the Create Vertical Tangents command. And just like that, I have my vertical alignment. Now I need to add a profile curve. So in the Curve dropdown, just like in the Alignment Layout tools, we have fixed, floating, and free. In this case, I want to create a free vertical curve and define parameters. So following the command line window, it says select first entity. So I'm going to zoom in here a little bit. and I'll pick my first entity, then my next entity, and then I can define a curve length right now, or I could do this by radius or K value, which is really cool. So my vertical curve for this is 500 feet. So I will enter 500, press enter. Now that I'm done, it looks like nothing happened. Just hit escape, and this will automatically update your labeling and vertical alignment. All right, so that's pretty simple, pretty cool tools. But now let's look at the bottom here, and I've got this band that's showing me existing and finished grade elevations. As you can see though right now, it's showing the same elevation because it's referencing the initial profile that was created. So I need to change this to actually reference the proposed profile now, because I actually have a proposed profile. So before I select this band, I'm going to close my profile layout tools, and then I'll select this band, and then in the profile view properties is where the band styles and settings are defined. I'll select that and navigate to the bands tab, and notice the types of bands that you can add. You can add profile data, vertical geometry, horizontal geometry, super elevation, sectional data, and pipe data. So I already have a band style at the bottom of the profile. Note that you can also put this at the top of the profile. I'm going to scroll to the right here, and you'll see that here is where Profile 1 and Profile 2 are defined. I'll simply click on here and choose the new vertical alignment, press OK, and just like that, I now have the existing and proposed elevations for my design. This concludes this video discussing designing profiles. There are many tools to edit design profiles. The first step is to select your design profile, and then in the contextual ribbon, you can choose the Geometry Editor tool. This will open up the profile layout tools where many of the editing tools exist. If you want a tabular type editor, you can actually select the profile grid view, which will open this profile in a tabular type editor. This is a very convenient interface to editing profiles. Very similar to the alignments, you can simply click on the fields and type in the values that you want. As you notice, you get some feedback in the drawing as to the PI or PVI location that you're located at. So if I type in -1%, this will automatically update the profile to the edit that I have made. You can also change elevations. So if I change the station, so if I click in the elevation field here, I can go in and change the elevation to whatever I desire. Notice how the grade in, grade out will also update as well. There are also additional tools to insert and remove PVIs. I can click the Insert PI, and this will allow me to insert a PVI where I pick. So if I pick there, I press Enter, I now have a PVI. If I need to add a vertical curve, I can go back to the free vertical curve tools and select my first next entity and add in a value for the curve. You can also delete sub-entities, even if these sub-entities were developed with the PI method. Simply select the Delete Sub-Entity tool, zoom into the location where you want to delete, and pick your sub-entities. And just like that, your sub-entities will be deleted. If you need to delete this PI, let's say, I can pick the Delete PI tool and simply pick somewhere near the PI, press Enter, and now that PVI is deleted. You can also select the profile, and you will notice some grips appear. These grips are conveniently located at the different locations of the profile. You can change the PVI station elevation. You can also change the grade as you move it along here. There are many tools that make editing your design profile very easy. This concludes this video discussing editing profiles. There are many profile and profile view labeling tools to better communicate your design. First, let's look at the beginning station label, and I will select it, and let's say I want to pull this away and drag it. So I can pick on this part here and drag this to either location. I also want to actually override the default text that says grade break, and I want it to say begin project 1. So I will go to the edit label text command in the ribbon. I need to pick the specific part of the label as it does contain 2 lines, and I want the PVI S, which is the station. I'll delete grade break. Again, this is simply a text editor, and I'll type in begin project 1 and enter. Click OK, and now, just like that, I've overridden that text, creating a standard project note. I'll press Escape to clear my selection set. Now let's go ahead and look at labeling the profile itself. So I'll select the profile, and then in the Labels panel, I'll select Edit Profile Labels, and as of right now, these are the labels that exist in this profile, and these are the styles that they're using. Let's say I want to add in the horizontal geometry. I can change the type to horizontal geometry points, select the style that's already in my drawing, and click on Add. You are then prompted as to which points you would like to add for labeling. In this case, I don't want the curve midpoint, and I don't need the alignment beginning or end, as those will be defined by the grade break labels. I'll click OK again, and just like that, I now have the PC and PT labels reading from the horizontal alignment. If the horizontal alignment changes, these labels will update automatically, which is pretty cool. Let's go ahead and add a profile view label. So I'll select my profile again, go to the Add View Labels dropdown, and choose Station Elevation. So let's say I wanted to actually add a station elevation at a specific point here in my profile view. I'll pick my profile view because that's what the command line is prompting me for. And then I need to define a profile view station elevation. So I'll pick along here. And let's say I want the same exact point for my elevation. And just like that, I have a profile view station elevation label. Well, what makes Civil 3D really cool regarding labeling is that all labels are dynamic. So if I copy this label, I'm just running the simple copy command. This will update automatically no matter where I put this label. You can also select these labels and drag them as well, and also change them to a drag state if you need to. Let's look at the last label type, which is a depth label. So I'll select my profile, and then select Add View Labels, and select Depth. Again, it's prompting me for a profile view to select, so I will go ahead and select that. And let's say I want to see the elevation difference between this profile, the proposed, and the existing ground. So I'm going to go ahead and snap to the endpoint of this line here. Then I'll acquire this point, and I'll go straight up until I find the intersection. And just like that, I now have a depth label that will also act dynamically if I change it. Again, really cool dynamic functionality. This concludes this video discussing profile and profile view labeling. Civil 3D has a few ways that you can report on profiles. You can use the panorama window as well as the toolbox. First, I'm going to select my profile, and then in the contextual ribbon, I'm going to select Geometry Editor, and then I can select the grid view, and in the panorama window, you can actually copy everything from this location here into Excel. So if I just right-click on this, copy all, I could then paste this actually into Excel as a comma-separated file. That's one way that you can actually report and look at the different parts of a profile. Let's look at reporting from the toolbox. So in the Toolbox tab, in the Reports Manager, and in the Profile category, you'll find many standard reports that you can use. I can simply do a PVI station report here by simply double-clicking this, and then I would pick from the drawing the profile that I want to report on. I can zoom in and select this profile, and then click OK, and then save this report, and it will open up in your default text editor. You can also do this other report that's really kind of neat, is the Incremental Station Elevation Difference Report. So I can just double click here and then select the design profile and the existing profile and whatever intervals you want to define this reporting on. Click Create Report. If you receive this error, don't worry about it, just click Yes. And then in your default text editor, this will show you the elevational difference and the northing and easting at each of the different station locations. Again, really cool reporting functionality. Reports are not dynamic and will not update automatically if any of the design changes. So you will have to simply rerun the reports. This concludes this video discussing profile reporting.